What's up, everyone? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin John.
And once again, we have an album review for you, and one that we were kind of eager to go over because we saw this band live, and it has members from other bands we like. Generally, that's kind of enough for us to kind of get, roped in. So today, we're going over the latest offering from Morbikon, Lost Within the Astral Crypts. This also comes on the 21st of November on Tank Crimes Records. This band formed in 2020, COVID AD, in Richmond, Virginia. This is their second album overall. We actually saw this band at Full Terror Assault in 2023, and they were kind of like the lone black metal band there, and they played during the day, like when the sun was out, which is just kind of like ruins the whole black metal aesthetic, honestly. It's like, yeah, but you guys are out in the day, like you're not as spooky.
And it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. And they didn't have the biggest crowd either. Now, that could have been due to the fact that it was 3:30 in the afternoon at Full Terror Assault, where they have the drunkest people ever on the face of the planet. But, I mean, it was a good show.
Yeah, no, I mean, like most black metal fans, 3:30 afternoon, come on, they're just getting out of their coffins. Anyway, I enjoyed their set. I thought they had a really solid sound overall. I ended up buying their debut album of Mournful Twilight, and was a big fan of that, and this is U.S. black metal, and kind of a well-rounded U.S. black metal because it kind of goes, well, a little all over the place. But that's also due to the fact that this band is kind of a supergroup. It features current and former members of bands like And Oceans, Municipal Waste, Iron Reagan, and Enigmatum, or however you say that.
Enigmatu, I don't know. If you talk to members of that band, they all pronounce it differently. So, I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce it right. I never will. I will somehow find a way to be wrong every time I say that.
Yeah, I saw this band live. I had never listened to their records before. At the time, I still wasn't really big into black metal. It was a good set. Like, I saw them live and I enjoyed it, but at that time I still wasn't into black metal yet, so I didn't listen to the record. So this was the first record I listened to, and I like it way better now. And maybe one of the reasons I liked it so much is it wasn't one sole version of black metal. It's an amalgamation of black metal, like, as a whole. Like, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. First wave, second wave, there's some thrash, there's some death metal, there's, like, this whole casserole, so to speak, of different kinds of black metal here. So that was probably one of the reasons I liked it a little bit more.
Black metal casserole, like charred bits of burnt church, blood.
Just like Mom used to make.
I mean, having listened to the first one, yeah, I kind of knew what to expect. Like, in terms of, like, if you're trying to narrow it down to a style of metal, this is the kind of style that I like. This is riffy black metal. And I've said it before, I said it again, riffy black metal is the best black metal because riffs, duh. And this album is fucking packed with them. This, I would say, like, baseline, a lot of this stuff emulates bands like Necrophobic, Dissection, Absu, a lot of Absu vibes, especially in the thrashier parts in here. And it's just riff after riff after here. Lots of melody. Like, you could also say this is, melodic black metal. You'd totally be, I think in the running for, like, nailing a type of black metal this is.
Yeah.
Every song in here is chock full of, like, melodic tremolo harmonies, just, like, great solos, great lead melodies. The lead work on here, across the board, fantastic.
Killer.
Like, there isn't a single lead on here that doesn't whoop ass. Some of these songs even have, like, 3 leads, because they're very long and dynamic songs overall. And again, they explore all of the fun intricacies of black metal. Flames That Bind and Shadows Cast, that's one song there, not me just combining two. That song has a lot of fun transitions in the way of, like, different styles. Like, you have a lot of, like, just good riffy, kind of like thrashy black metal, but you also get down into, like, some slower stuff with, like, some old school, like, kind of Celtic frost riffs, but, like, a little bit of a disco beat. It kind of reminded me of, like, later Satyricon, where people kind of decided they didn't like him because they started writing, like, black and roll. But, I mean, I kind of like the black and roll touch. But there's lots of these fun transitions on here where it goes from, like, different black and style to different black and style. And that goes with the vocals, too. The vocalist, I believe, is the vocalist from And Oceans. And initially, like, the vocals kind of sit about the back middle of the mix. He's just doing some ghoulish black metal vocals. Like, yeah, they're very appropriate. They sound cold and grim and like a goblin locked outside of the studio in a snowstorm. Just let me in. Like, no, you smell bad. Or, probably another excuse. But as this album went on, There's more death metal vocals incorporated. And you get these really cool switches. There's chants that show up on songs like Unending Legions of Baal and Masters of Eternal Night. There's a lot of fun song titles, too. Over the course of this album, a lot of different dynamics were revealed pretty much across the board, like in terms of just about every aspect of this album.
Now, for the most part on this record, I would say that the speed sits somewhere in between D-beat territory and blast beats. I kind of expected that anyway. I've become, as I dive more into black metal here, I'm kind of realizing that really either D-beats or blast beats are pretty much the speed, and I'm okay with that because I like those things. But there are some slower moments in this record that I thought were particularly cool. Numeric Portal Ascendancy actually starts out with some really gross-sounding evil tremolo, and it kind of goes back and forth between blast and like halftime parts, which I thought was really cool.
That opening riff is evil as fuck.
It is.
I love it. It is the most evil, sinister riff. It struts in like it fucking owns the place, and it is accompanied by this just really cool, ghostly, descending tremolo melody. It was like, dude, this is like the perfect combination of like grim and cold, and then bam, it takes off into like punky, crusty D beats. Like, oh shit, it was a fucking crust punk in disguise. Now this place is really gonna smell bad.
Masters of Eternal Night is another awesome, slow, evil banger. I really like how that switches between kind of a thrashy double time and just downright sinister, like we're talking Celtic Frost, even a little bit of Morbid Angel as far as the tremolos are concerned.
I love the opening riff. The opening riff, like, all right, I always make the joke that if you took away the distortion and all the gain and sizzle on black metal guitars while they're doing the tremolos, guess what? You have evil surf rock, and you can hear it on there. It's like some possessed Dick Dale came in and wrote that riff. But that evil surf rock energy works because it's distant, it's still cold sounding. And then they get into like some like deeper tremolos on there, and deep tremolos. There we go.
Yep. Lost Within the Astral Crypts also kind of plays a little bit along at least the evil vibes and some of the slower stuff. I tell you what, there's some downright Sabbathy moments in that song. Lost somewhere in the dark, dissonant tremolos that are going on there. I don't know. I enjoyed that too.
There's a lot of Immortal there. And I pick up a lot of Immortal on a fair amount of this, but like a lot of earlier Immortal, like before it started getting more like, epic and melodic, like we're talking like Blizzard Beasts and, Battles in the North and shit like that. The title track in particular, I get a lot of that. Like, the tremolos are very like second wave. They're melodic, but they're very cold and icy. And that song is a little bit more about like big instrumental builds. Like every transition feels very grand going into the next part. You get like marching snares, like fucking war drums and shit. Big like double time stampeding kind of riffs and shit. And of course, riff harmonies that could possibly give you frostbite. It just feels like the song is off to battle to conquer something, because that's kind of the main thing that, Immortal did too. I don't know. They always seem like they were armed in their album covers.
Well, Sworn to the Beheaded King, actually, that's probably the biggest war march song of all of them. Starts out with epic battles, strings, and horns, and then throughout it, it's just like a march. Like, there's a really cool tribal part, there's a downright, like, stomp moment. Actually, that song has some brutal moments in it, too, which I didn't see coming. But, I mean, that song through and through, that's a war march song.
You also get, like, some more traditional folky melodies, too. Like, a lot of stuff that screams, Norway. Even though this band is from Virginia. And honestly, there are parts that, I kind of forgot that. Like, this is, again, like an amalgamation of different styles. And again, like black and thrash, and even like touches of like classic heavy metal are in here too. Like Ghoul Infested Mausoleum, the lead break, the first one that comes up. It just shifts to this like fun 4/4 time, little heavy metal kind of chugger. Like, oh, that's just home right there. But a lot of this sounds very, just Norwegian, like almost to a point where it feels like, again, like an amalgamation or almost like a tribute to like, a lot of the bands that I'm sure influenced this. But I don't know. I wouldn't call this a tribute. Like, it does feel like this is their own shit. And
it definitely is.
I mean, it's damn good.
And then there's another really cool part that I just wanted to touch on, because I think the drum work in this song particularly is fantastic. Ghoul Infested Mausoleum, I wasn't expecting to be as groovy as it was, but that song is just jam-packed full of a bunch of groovy pockets. There's a lot of riffs going on in there, but at one time, I swear to God, Fear Factory. There's this really cool riff and staccato drum beat part that's in at least the beginning of that song that I swear to God is Fear Factory. And I wasn't expecting that either. But dude, that song is full of really awesome grooves, just one after the other.
It's really clever in terms of the transitions too, especially in the drums. It opens up with that, staccato like breakdown section, and it's cool to hear it transition to like a more like traditional beat in black metal.
Yeah.
And then throughout the entire song, there's a lot of cool pockets of groove. There's some rapid fire blast sections with machine gun riffs, and at the end, it's a flat out crossover thrash groove.
Yeah.
Like a groovy little like breakdown you would hear on like, a Municipal Waste album, an Iron Reagan album. But it works. All of it fucking works. And that song stands out, again, for like probably being just like a little bit more clever in terms of like the rhythms and such, and made it stand out. Now, this album isn't without some issues. And one of the main issues we found, and it kind of came up on Unending Legions of Baal and Sworn to Their Beheaded King, this album is very busy with riff changes. There's a lot of riffs going on. And sometimes I think they kind of throw in too much. Those two songs in particular, there might be some others. John might have picked out some others. But those two, for me, I feel like they were just a little too busy with riff changes. Like, they would lose momentum by abandoning riffs too soon and then transitioning into what would be a pretty cool riff. But at the same time, you're like, I feel like there was a way to build or draw out some of these parts, because the songs that really stood out to me, Numeric, Portal, Ascendancy in particular.
Dude, I love that song.
That's my favorite song on here. They drew out the parts. The builds were longer. Like the first 3 parts of that song is this glorious fucking build, and it's awesome. You explore like 3 very different styles of black metal in it. And once the verses hit, it was like, dude, that was fucking killer.
Yep, and the leads in that song are killer too. And here's the thing too, especially in Unending Legions of Baal, like they're weird transitions, but they're all really good riffs. And I guess the same is true of Sworn to the Beheaded King, which skips around a bunch. It's riff salad, but it's really good salad. So, like, I don't know, it does skip around a lot. It got a little annoying, but it didn't necessarily kill the song either, because they're all really good riffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's riff salad, but you can see all the ingredients in the salad. Like, oh, this is good. It's just, maybe the dressing was expired, or I don't know. Outside of that, like, I really can't say there's anything else that really like knocked this. Vocal performance was awesome. Production here is fantastic. I couldn't find who did this, but I really dig the sound of this. It sounds gritty. It sounds cold, but it sounds well mixed. Like, this isn't like raw black metal where it sounds like it was recorded inside of a fucking dumpster on Fisher Price equipment.
Right.
But it still retains like a cold, kind of grim quality where it sounds like black metal still. And yeah, I dig it overall, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4 stars. Yeah, this has been a pretty solid week for, a week that didn't have like a lot of big releases, but a lot of good stuff coming out. And this, I would just call it well-rounded black metal. It doesn't really kind of like do one particular style like super well, but it does all of them pretty damn good. Like, it's kind of a jack of all trades thing. Tons of riffs, which will win me over every time. I love my black metal riffy, but there's also loads of atmosphere, tons of melody. Like, this is very melodic. A lot of catchy riffs, a lot of catchy melodies. The lead work in here is scorching. The songs, for being longer, for the most part, are really engaging. Again, like, the riff changes work, throughout most of the album. It's just some of the ones where they kind of just, abandon a riff too soon and kind of jump to the next part and, do like parts that don't repeat and such. And that's where I kind of like lost a little bit of momentum. But overall, I think this is a banger of an album. If you are a big fan of Dissection, Necrophobic, Satyricon, and I mean, honestly, a lot of Absu, and of course, Immortal, check this album out. It's pretty damn good.
Surprisingly, I'm also going to go with a 4. I had a really good time jamming this record. Immediately catchy. When we talk about how melodic this record is, like, these melodies will easily get stuck in your head. And for me, right off the bat, that's usually a sign of a really good record. And although it skipped around a bunch at times, it's like I said, it was all really good. Like, there's not a bad riff on this record. There's definitely not a bad lead on this record. The leads, again, scorching. I don't even know if that truly kind of captures the vibe of what a lot of these leads are. Like, the lead work is pretty top notch. Once again, I don't know how to talk really yet about a black metal record as far as the changing of styles are concerned, but I will say that usually in most songs there are several styles of black metal represented. And again, I can't tell you exactly what they are. This guy can, but it's really cool. Just a lot of these songs were really, really neat to listen to because of what was going on in them. Now, for me, too, I like, obviously, there to be some slower times, and there were definitely some slower times which were usually particularly evil, and a couple of those evil times even came with some wonderful dissonant harmonies, which, again, will win over my heart 9 times out of 10. Drum work was killer. The vocals are particularly entertaining. Like, as the record goes on, they become a little bit more theatric, and like there's definitely a lot of different vocal dynamics being presented. And again, especially when it switches from the higher screams to like the lower moments and like the more tortured, like icy cold moments, I thought were really cool. But yeah, overall, if you're into any of the bands that Nick mentioned, I mean, we're going to get to our Immortal ranking eventually, and then I'll be able to probably talk more in depth about a lot of this shit and how I feel, but we're not there yet. So I do know Necrophobic. I like Necrophobic, and if you're into Necrophobic, amongst all the other bands that Nick mentioned, definitely give this a whirl for yourself.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships that are only 99 cents, and our lone perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we will let you know when we're doing that. We're kind of working with a couple of ideas. We will keep you posted for sure. Either way, membership's the main way to support the channel. And if you would like to join up, there's a join button down there for you to smite with an orkin fucking blade until it bleeds fucking join button blood everywhere. I don't know what it bleeds.
If you don't hit that join button, though, it's cool. We do non-members only live streams, discography rankings, album reviews, collection updates, tons of discussion forums, all metal all the time. It's what we do because we're thankful for you guys. We do this all for you guys. Trust me. I mean, a little bit of it's for us, but most of it is for you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of things. Thank you to all our family, our friends, our subscribers, both old and new. We couldn't do this without you guys. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule. Tons of content coming your way. So one more big thank you, because you guys are awesome, and we will catch you later.